Golf Pick'em Expert Picks, brought to you by FootJoy.
The final major of the year after a one-year hiatus. The Open is back. We're back at Royal St. George's in England for the first time since 2011, and the Open is back in Golf Pick'em in the NBC Sports Predictor app. A $100,000 jackpot up for grabs this week for a perfect score across all 10 head-to-head matchups, plus the tournament winner and the winning score. $1,000 in guaranteed prizes available, even if there is no perfect score. We're going to get right to the action. We're going to start with a marquee matchup, Jon Rahm against Rory McIlroy. Rahm making his first start in a major as a major champion. Just last month, he got the monkey off his back at the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines. He finished 7th last week at the Scottish Open, still lost his world #1 ranking. And he was T11 2 years ago at Royal Portrush in this event, but that was his first time inside the top 40 at the Open. Rory, on the other hand, is kind of the inverse. He was running great until Portrush 2 years ago. He, of course, won this event in 2014, was also a runner-up at Carnoustie in 2018, but he missed the cut in his homeland 2 years ago in dramatic fashion. Remember, though, he got the monkey off his back at Quail Hollow earlier this year, winning for the first time in nearly 2 years. They're both going to be in the mix and near the top of the leaderboard. I'm going to go with Rory McIlroy. I think he's going to have a better shot at this event, given the course. I don't love Jon Rahm's record in the Open, even though I do love Jon Rahm's play right now. I'm going to give a slight edge to Rory. Two Americans facing off here in Brooks Koepka and Jordan Spieth. Koepka nearly got major #5 a couple months back at the PGA. Spieth, of course, finally got back into the winner's circle at the Valero, finished T3 at the Masters. Two guys who are near the top of the odds chart this week for the Open at Royal St. George's. Remember, it was 4 years ago that Spieth won this event in England, the last time it was played in England at Royal Birkdale. Koepka has 3 top 10 finishes in his last 4 starts in the Open, including a T4 finish at Royal Portrush 2 years ago. Listen, these are both talented players. I really like Spieth this week. I'm very high on him. I think he could contend for a 4th major title. I'm going to give him the edge over Koepka in this matchup because I think his game stacks up just a little bit better on links golf. Bryson DeChambeau and Justin Thomas. The last time we saw Bryson was in Montana. He was winning the match with Aaron Rodgers over Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady. He's got a new guy on the bag, Ben Ziegler, in his first event as Bryson's caddy. Of course, Bryson had a notable split with longtime looper Tim Tucker and his last PGA Tour start at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Justin Thomas played pretty well last week in Scotland, and he's going to look to build on that momentum in a tournament where he really doesn't have a great track record except for a T11 finish 2 years ago at Royal Portrush. Bryson is going to try and bomb it all over Royal St. George's. There is some thick rough to deal with, so there could be a priority on keeping it in the short stuff, finding the fairways off the tee. For that reason, I'm going to give JT the edge. I like that he played links golf last week at the Renaissance Club, and I think he is going to finish a little higher on the leaderboard this week in England. Two players who excel at major championship golf but don't have a lot of hardware to show for it. Louis Oosthuizen and Xander Schauffele. Oosthuizen coming off back-to-back runner-up finishes in the majors. He finished 2nd to Phil at Kiowa. He finished 2nd to Jon Rahm at Torrey Pines. Xander Schauffele has a similarly stellar record in the majors. Now 9 top 10 finishes in the majors since 2017, including a T7 finish at the U.S. Open last month and also a tie for 2nd at this event 3 years ago at Carnoustie. Oosthuizen, listen, he won this event 11 years ago at St. Andrews, and he leads the tour right now in strokes gained putting by a pretty wide margin. He is playing some incredible golf this year for not having won. He also lost in a playoff with Charles Schwartzel at the Zurich Classic team event. Xander just continues to put himself right in the mix. He did play last week at the Scottish Open, but I don't think that that's enough for me to side with him. I'm going to go with Oosthuizen. I love his tee to green game. I love the advantage he has had in recent months on the greens. I think that that continues, and I think Louis gets the better of Xander in this matchup. All right, those are my thoughts on the marquee matchups this week for the Open at Royal St. George's. But remember, in Golf Pick'em in the NBC Sports Predictor app, you need to fill out not only 10 head-to-head matchups, you also need a tournament winner and a winning score. This week for the Claret Jug, I'm going back to Jordan Spieth, a winner 4 years ago. I love his recent momentum with the win at Valero, the runner-up at Colonial, T3 at the Masters, And I really love his iron play. I think the approach play is going to be very important this week in England. So I'm going to go with Spieth to win his second Open Championship and his fourth major title. But remember, go into the NBC Sports Predictor app, go into the Golf Pick'em game, make your picks, 10 head-to-head matchups, a tournament winner, and a winning score, $1,000 in guaranteed prizes up for grabs, a $100,000 jackpot this week on the line for a perfect score. We'll see you next week.